And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
Okay, listen, I'm going to put my interrogator hat on. In case you don't know, I am a trained interrogator, certified interrogator, have done approximately 1,000 interrogations or more in the United States Army. And I'm going to look at this from the deception detection point of view. Now, I don't mean this to insult anyone's intelligence. Everybody knows he's lying, he's bullshitting. I just want to give you my analysis, my kind of deeper dive analysis into what he says based on, my training as an interrogator and some of the things that I picked up on. So when people are being deceptive, they are purposely overly descriptive. Like, let's say your partner comes home from wherever later than expected. You say, hey, where you been? I wasn't doing anything crazy. I just stopped at the store on the way home. I had to pick up a bag of chips, a bottle of Pepsi. They get very descriptive for no reason. They could have just said, I stopped by the store. Sorry, I should have told you, right? Because in our brains, we believe providing too much detail makes our story more believable. And that actually is a sign of deception. Right here, he pulls the number 28 out of his ass. Now listen, I'm not trying to alleviate Bill Clinton of any culpability he may or may not have. If there's evidence of Bill Clinton's culpability in all this disgusting, horrific shit, lock him up. Release the files. Lock him up. But what I am saying is this number 28 is oddly specific for no fucking reason. First of all, if there's no list, if the files don't have anything pertinent in them, then how'd you get the number 28 if not from your FBI and or DOJ? Or were you with him those 28 times and you counted? Or did you just make it up on the fly? It's probably a combination of all of them, but it gets worse.
I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard.
Larry Summers, I hear, went there. Another deflection. Hey, talk about Bill Clinton. Talk about Larry Summers. Talk about anybody but me.
And many other people that are very big people.
And many other people that are very big people who I'm not naming. And now I'm being intentionally vague, hoping that you won't ask follow-up questions. That's what people do. Listen, the best lies are centered somewhere around the truth so that hopefully you will conflate their lie with the truth and not be able to tell the difference between them. He actually knows a lot more than any of us what Epstein did, because he was a co-conspirator with Epstein. We know that. They were best friends for years. Let's stop pretending like we need the files to be released to know that this motherfucker was deeply involved with that motherfucker, right? These guys co-hosted model searches. This guy ran the Miss Teen USA pageant and bragged on the Howard Stern show about walking in the locker room while the girls were changing or undressed, because he could do that since he owned the pageant.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere, and I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm inspecting it.
This guy knows more than any of us of what Epstein was fucking up to, and so he knows how to throw little bits of possible truth out there, hoping that those little tidbits of truth will alleviate his culpability, because then you'll believe his lie, because the best lies are as close to the truth as possible.
I never had the privilege of going to his island.
And there you have it. When people start yapping, when people yap too much to get themselves out of something, they will eventually tell on themselves. You just have to pay attention. Now, most of social media, most of the internet has picked up on the word privilege there. Listen, the reason that this motherfucker is lying about going to the island is because he knows the horrific, horrible shit that happens on that island, and so he has to lie about going there. But now, right in the middle of your fucking yapping, Yaposaurus Rex here slips up and uses the word privilege. If this were an interrogation, if we were in an interrogation booth, I would say, hey, hold, stop your story right there. What do you mean by privilege? What happened on the island that would be a privilege? Now, he may try to backpedal. Oh, you know what I meant? No, I don't know what you meant, because what you meant is what you said. People often say what they mean when they don't mean to say it. I'm going to say that again. People often say what they mean when they don't mean to say it. Privilege was on purpose here.
And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his...
I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. So that means you were invited. So why would Epstein feel so comfortable as to invite you to his horrific, disgusting island if he didn't believe it'd be something you would want to do? Because keep in mind, you didn't need to go to the island. Guys, Trump didn't need to go to the island. Epstein brought the island to Trump. They did lots of shit in his Mar-a-Lago residence that's been reported on. There's lawsuits filed in court that talk about the shit that happened in Mar-a-Lago with Trump and Epstein. You understand? They don't have to go to the island when the island comes to him, but I know for a fucking fact this piece of shit definitely went to the island, and that's why he's now going on this fucking yapping rampage right here to try to deflect. He's been doing it for weeks. Stop talking about Epstein. Don't talk about Epstein. Talk about anything other than Epstein. Barack Obama, Russia, Bill Clinton, everybody but me. You were invited. You just admitted that you were invited. Many people in Palm Beach were invited. So why didn't you, when you declined said invitation, go immediately to the authorities and report on this island that you were just invited to? Because clearly you know what happens on the island. That makes you, at a very bare minimum, by your own admittance, a accomplice to the bullshit, horrific shit happening on that island.
In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
In one of my very good moments. What he means by in one of my very good moments, what he means is he was considering it. It sounded like a good idea. And he decided against it. And now he's thinking, thank God I decided against it, because now all this heat's on me. But he's actively making this story up. I want you to understand he's actively making this story up because he didn't decline the invitation. He definitely went to the island. There's the only scenario that I can think of that he didn't go to the island was that he didn't want that type of record. He didn't want it to be traceable, him and Epstein's activities. Like I said, Epstein brought the island to him, so he didn't need to go to the island. That's the only excuse I can think possibly that he would have declined it. But let's be honest, he probably fucking didn't. Release the files, lock him up, and lock anybody else that we have fucking evidence of. And by the way, before I go, people say, why didn't Joe Biden release the files? First, there's lots of answers to that question. There's lots of reasons why. But let me just give you this. The FBI, law enforcement agencies, intelligence agencies that are conducting an investigation do so independent of the office of the presidency, and their job is to find evidence, bring evidence to the Department of Justice, and prosecute people for those crimes that they are found to be charged with through investigation. So the president wouldn't release files of an ongoing investigation. The difference is Trump ran on this. Trump said, I'm going to release the JFK files. I'm going to release the MLK files, which he did. He released Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s files against the family's wishes. He don't give a fuck. He did it anyway because he's a piece of shit. And he also ran on, I'm going to release the Epstein files. And then when it come time to shit or get off the pot, he shit his pants, which we know that he's known for. And so when we say release the files, it's because you ran on it and then you fucking shit yourself when it come time to do it. So now we know there's something in there you don't want us to see. Release those files. But please understand, 34-time felon P3DO Trump, with or without the files, we know that you and Epstein were best friends. We know what the fuck you're up to. We know why you sent your personal attorney to prison to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. We know that you're trying to orchestrate the biggest deflection in the biggest scandal in American history, in the American presidential history, because you are guilty. You know you're guilty, and you know that we know you're guilty.